Okay, this first video I'm going to cover is how to do the managed sites in Dreamweaver. What the managed sites is where you connect your website to a web server and you tell it what folder on the desktop. We call this your desktop computer, your client server computer, right? This is a client, the web server is your server. So in this managed site that I just talked about here, and I'll show you again. Let me cancel this for just a minute, or I guess I can't cancel this. I already clicked on it. I clicked right here where it said Manage Sites. Do you see that right there? It brings up this window, Manage Sites. Now, right now, this computer doesn't have any servers connected to it right now. But if you had multiple servers, let's say on my computer, I do multiple websites, right? I have multiple clients, right? And each one of my clients, I have a different website. I have maybe 5 websites I'm maintaining, right? I would have each 5 websites in this window here, and each one of them might be connected to a different server folder or the same server with different folders on there. How I do that is I start by clicking on New Site right here. The first thing it's going to ask you is to give your site a name. This is going to be my sample site. I'm just making this up right now. You can call it whatever you want. The next one you'll see right here is your folder. This is the folder on your local computer where you're going to be building your website locally. So I click on the folder. Of course, it goes to the simple Apple interface where you can make a folder, right? I'm just going to put it on the desktop for now, and I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it sample site. It doesn't have to be the same name as the other one, but I just called it the sample site just to give it the same name. When I hit create, it actually makes a folder on my desktop, and that's where I'm going to save all my files. And Dreamweaver knows that then. Once you do this, every time you go file save, it's going to automatically go to that folder, so that way you don't have to surf around looking for the folder. And when I hit choose, you'll notice it says that. You can also have it connected to Git. If you don't know what GitHub is, GitHub was made by the publisher O'Reilly. O'Reilly looked out there in the world and said, boy, this is kind of archaic. People trying to code things without, sharing with each other. Oh, I'll build a network where people can share code and collaborate. And that's where GitHub came from. It's the publisher, the O'Reilly, the people who make O'Reilly books, right? And the O'Reilly publisher is the one who started GitHub.
Is that GIT that you're saying?
Yeah, GitHub. Yeah, Git. There's a Git repository right here. So you would, let's say if you're collaborating with other people, you make yourself a folder on GitHub, or you get yourself an account. Then your team all has the same account. As you're working and doing things, you can log in. They can see your code. You can actually have it in real time where you're changing things. You hit save, boom, it's automatically there. They can see it in real time. Right? You're connected to GitHub. So if you don't know what GitHub is, I would read it, go to their website. That's where you're going to find a lot of samples as well. You guys are going to want to do things and you don't know how to do them. You can go find it on GitHub. It has everything you ever needed. Same with the stack one. Next, you'll notice it says server right here. See the server? That's your local server. So here at West Valley, I have a server that we use for the digital media website. So I'm going to connect to it right now so you can see it. I'm going to click right here where it says add new server. And of course, in order to send files from your client, which is here in front of us, to the web server, we use a FTP program. Now, on these computers, we have FileZilla, which is a very popular one. You might have heard of FileZilla before. Here, there's an FTP program built right into Dreamweaver, which allows you to connect directly to the web server. I'm going to call it Digital Media because that's my server. It's the Digital Media server. FTP. Of course, you have to have an address, which is basically the web address, digital-media.westvalley.edu. Then you have to have your username. Of course, it's going to be my wonderful name. And then I'm going to put in my password. And then to make sure it's going to connect, I hit test. And hopefully it goes. If it doesn't connect, most likely you have a firewall that's blocking it of some kind. Uh-oh. Oh, it was successful. So what I have just done is I've been able to connect to my web server using FTP from this Dreamweaver application, so that when I'm done making my pages, I can send it there and whoosh, you'll see it on the internet. So if I hit OK right now, Dreamweaver is now connected to my server. Now there is some more advanced options here. If you're having problems connecting, use passive FTP should be checked. Sometimes if this is not checked, it blocks. A lot of servers have, FTP is kind of blocked a lot because they're worried about viruses and stuff. Do you know about ports? There's different ports. Port 80 is the web port and things like that. FTP is port 21. You don't need to know that right now, but there's some information there. And when you're all done, you just hit save. You'll notice your FTP shows up here. And I can hit save again. And I can hit done. In doing so, I can now, when I make my pages, connect to my server and send them there, and you can see them live in real time. Again, it's called Manage Sites. It's up in the upper right corner. So buy yourself some web hosting, get yourself an FTP account, and you'll be ready to go. Okay? Let's get started with our code. Let me stop this video. I just wanted to do a quick. Let's go underneath File, New. Under File, New, it's going to ask you what version of what version of HTML you want. You'll notice it says doc type right there. You can go back to old versions if you want, HTML or XHTML. But we're doing the standard HTML today, so we're going to start with the HTML5. You don't have to give your doc type a title. Again, new document, HTML right here. Don't do Bootstrap yet, and hit create. Again, your code will show up. This is the standard code that you should have on any website. Next, you can just change the title. She told you to change the title to Web Development 1, Lesson 1, Web Development 1, right? So on side here where the title tag is, we're going to type in Lesson 1, 1 dash Web Development 1. Or is that an I? I don't know what that is.
I think that's like
Roman numeral 1, okay. Let's save our file before we go any further so we can make the relationship between this and the CSS file. Because you can see the next one's the relationship to the CSS file, which we don't have yet. We haven't made it yet. So let's save this before we go any further. To save this, we're going to go under File, Save As. In the Save As window, it's going to ask you where you want to save it. Notice it automatically goes to my sample site folder because I did that in the Manage Sites. Do you remember that? Now, you might not have done it. If you don't have a folder, you can click here. If you see it like this, see the more, less, more, less. You can make a folder right here where it says New Folder and then save it in there. Again, the first page should be called Index, all lowercase letters, INDEX, like that. Why is it called Index? Well, it comes down to, of course, the web server, right? A lot of web servers, they're just programmed to serve that file first. So, you go to westvalley.edu, the server's going to say, hey, where's the index file? Send that one to the people. It's the first one that sends to the people. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so let's make the CSS file. How do we make the CSS file? Well, you can do it actually in this window by going under File, New, and inside there, you'll notice it says CSS, the second one in the list. See the second one in the list? CSS. I'm going to make a new CSS file right there. I'm going to hit create. It's not going to have anything in it. All it has is a character set, which tells it what kind of character set it is. But that's all it does right now. It doesn't have anything in it. But of course, we need to save it. In her example, she called it styles.css. Do you see that? So I'm going to go under File, Save As. Make sure it's going to the same folder right there. Make sure it's going to the same folder. And we call it styles, S-T-Y-L-E-S. And of course, you have the CSS at the end there. And hit save for that. Now I have two tabs. If you look inside of Dreamweaver in the upper left corner, you'll see I have one tab that says index, the other one's CSS. You'll be able to jump back and forth between these two files as you're working. In fact, what you can do is you can do a split view where you see the CSS on one side and you see the HTML on the other. Okay, so any question, everybody got the two tabs at the top? You guys all got two tabs on the top? Move them under File, New. Got two tabs on the top. Okay, next let's type in the link that she has, which is the fourth and fifth line there in the link there, right? So go back to the HTML, see it over there. Not in this one, not in the CSS, in the HTML. Go back to this link right here. The next line, again, it's up here after the title. Is it after the title? Yeah, she has it after the title. Let's look at it. It's going to be link. So you got chevron, link, space, rel, equals, and then of course you have the name of what is this link. Well, we're linking to a style sheet. And you'll notice you get these code hints. Do you see the code hints popping up? You can use the code hints right here. As you start typing, code hints will start popping up. And then we're going to say type equals, and then you'll notice it's going to be text, CSS, ooh, code hits are there, and then of course we're going to type in href, this is the link to the file, equal, and then of course since it's in the same folder, right, it's in the same folder, we're going to type in style CSS. It even recognizes that. Do you see that? And then put your closing chevron. So use your code hints if you're not a quick typer. I don't know. I learned to be a quick typer. I never took a typing class. Okay, get down to the body. So I'm going to jump right down to the body. So the first thing we're going to do is the div tag, div for div, and then we got an ID, and we got a equal sign, and then this one's going to be called container, right? Container. This is the container. I think we discussed that last time. This is kind of like the big thing that's over top of everything else. And then you'll notice it automatically puts closing div. Now everything goes inside that closing div, so you have to put that kind of towards the bottom. In fact, you can go like this and give yourself some space if you want. That div is going to be the bottom div. Think of the nesting. Hence, she has the word nesting in your vocabulary words. The nesting, look at how it nests inside the code, how things are indented, right? Do you see how things are indented? Things are indented into each other. Okay, the next one's going to be div ID equals header. Where do these words come from? Well, the book has these words written right in them too. These are standard HTML5 terms that we use. Notice it gives you another div. But notice this div doesn't go down below at the bottom. Why is that? Well, the div is up here next to that content because this is going to be the content that's at the top of the page. Okay, so we can put stuff in there. We're going to put things in there. We'll put things in here. You can write that if you want to. I'm going to put things in there. Usually what would you have it to your header? People have their logo, search box, things like that, right? Logo, search box, things like that. What else do we have? Then we have a div ID equals left box. Notice there's a capital B there, so be careful of that. Careful of the capital B. And then there's a closing div for that. Do you see that as well? There's a closing div for that. And then she has a P tag in there, right? There's a P for paragraph. P. That's like a new paragraph is like when you want a line of text. You put a paragraph in there for a line of text. Notice there's a closing P. This is the left side. I'm going to put that in there. I don't know what. Add your own dummy test here. I put in this is the left side. How about that? Then you'll notice that there is a BR break. I don't know why she has a BR break, but there's a BR break before the closing div here. Where's the closing div? Well, there is no closing div. Oh, she has a button there. That's right. We got a button going somewhere. So we're going to do a BR break, which puts it on a new line. You can also put a paragraph break there if you want. It would just push it down again. Then there's a div there too, div, and then that's a class. The class is the same as the ID. The difference between a class is the class can have an inheritance and the ID does not. Kind of like in the Xcode we were talking about, the difference between in Xcode, the difference between the struct and the what? I'm sorry, my brain is starting to fry. In the class, between the struct and the class inside of Xcode. One can have inheritance and the other one can't. Same as here. The class can have inheritance. I can have a sub to this class button here, but with the ID I don't have a sub to that. You'll learn about that. The book goes over that actually. So you'll learn about that in the book. And then this button goes where? in the closing div here, it goes to an A tag. The A tag is what does A stand for? Anchor. That's the word A there. So if you notice there's one that says A. You see that? A. href equals, and then there's a quote, and it goes http://www.yahoo.com, and then there's the target, 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 did I spell that right? Target equals blank, like that. And then to add your text, because of course this link doesn't show up on the screen, you got to add text to have it show up on screen. So you can put some text on there. You can Yahoo. It doesn't have to be all caps. It's just all caps there. And then what's after that? She's got a closing A tag. We already have that. And then the closing div tag there. And then another closing div tag, which is this one. So let's just look at the way the structure is. This div tag goes with this div tag. You see that? And then this div tag goes with this div tag. So try and keep your divs organized. So this one is, this left box is a big box with all this stuff in it right there. Let's make the right box. So if we go down a little bit, you'll notice it says whoosh, not Z. Oh. It says div ID equals, and then we have right box, again a capital B there. Make sure you put capital B when we're doing CSS. And then we have closing there, and then there's a closing there as well. And then there's a more text there, and I'm going to put a P tag in there. And this text I'm going to say this is the right side, like that. Okay. Let me make my text a little bigger. Did I make it big? I think I did that last time, didn't I? Let me make sure my preferences. Oh yeah, I have it pretty big. Can you see that? Let me go up to 16 so you can see it. There we go. And then there's a BR break, and that's it. There's a BR, and then there's a closing BR. Is that close? No, that's just two BRs. I don't know what we have two BRs for, but we got two BRs at the end there. And then we have nothing else. Oh, and then we'll put our RSS feed down there. You want to make a div? Let's make a div for our RSS feed. Are you guys ready to do that? Make your own div?
So you put it all in the same file, the HTML and the CSS?
No, it's not on the same. The CSS is going to stay separate, but I'm just going to make another div so I have a box that I'm going to show you how to do an RSS feed, which is a feed from out there, and put it into a box and in here. So let's just make a box. Let's make.
I just have one question.
Uh-huh.
So there's a closing div tag after the header, but there's no closing div tag after the left box. It encompasses the left box and the button before it does the closing div tag.
This is the closing div tag for the left box. Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking, why is there a closing div tag after the header?
The header.
Why can't you just leave it open and just, yeah.
Because it's going to be kind of like the way I drew it on the board here. Oh, here we go. It's going to have its own content up here, and the closing div is kind of like the line right here. So then we're going to start a new line here for that one. So the closing div here is going to say, hey, you're ending the header here. You can see it's the box here. So that kind of closes this. If you had the header and you put it down here, the header would be the whole thing. So chunk it, if there's a word, chunking, boxing it. So each thing's a box. So this left side is going to be, all this stuff's going to be in the left side. All this stuff is going to be in the right side. And then let's not do anything more. Let's just follow this right now. We'll go back and add fun things later. Everybody got that? You ready to save?
I think the body, the header, this is not showing, put things in here, it's not showing.
What?
The code you like, put things in here.
I just put that in there. I put that in there.
Yeah, I know. If I render it, it's not showing.
Not showing on your computer.
Maybe
Because
because
probably because we haven't done the CSS part.
yeah, the CSS hasn't been added. I don't know.
CSS.
Let me see. I don't know I don't know this program very well anymore.
We did split.
Did I preview it in the browser? Let's open it in the browser. I'm gonna go to the
We
browser.
can split it and we run it, right?
Well, I don't. That running thing doesn't work. I don't know if that works very well.
And then it's showing.
Yeah, hold on. You need to preview it in the browser. There we go. It looks there. It's in the browser.
Okay.
I don't know about this. The dumb Dreamweaver preview. So you just keep it open here and just go back to the file and just hit refresh every time you make a change. So open it in the browser. So you should have something like this in the browser. Of course, nothing has been CSS yet. If that's a term. Is there a term CSS? With an ED at the end, CSS and dip.
And now it is.
Hey, I made that. I'm going to copyright that or trademark that. Right? Registered trademark. Don't be stealing it. Stealing my pictures. Did I show you my picture that's still on Amazon? You weren't here. He was here for my Amazon discussion. Amazon is so evil. In my other class yesterday, I went on a 10-minute rant about how evil Amazon is. And then the students didn't know what an Amazon affiliate is and how they could make money. You're young. 20-year-old kids, you guys could write yourself a blog, have links to the products on Amazon, and when people buy the products from your blog, you get money. Cha-ching!
Yeah.
People making $10,000 a month with their stupid Amazon affiliate. I'm thinking maybe I should just start my own stud finder affiliate. Right? Because I'm the expert stud finder. I'm making products. I can write about them and fire me about that. Okay, everybody ready to do CSS? Almost ready? I'll give you a minute. Don't worry. No stress. I'm going to drink my water. Have some water. I'll put the code up. Make sure you got this CSS or HTML correct. Look at how everything is nice and kind of indented as well so that you can see it properly. The other thing is, how do you comment something out? What was the comment? There was how to comment was it this one? So I want to put a comment here, let's say after this div tag, after the header. Do I do the chevron with a dash like that? No. Do I do the // like that? Yes.
Yes.
This is a comment. No? Like that? No? / asterisk? Like that? I don't remember. That's why I'm asking you. I have to go to the book. I have to go to the book. Which one? Tell me again.
If you scroll up,
So left arrow, exclamation mark.
This one?
Yeah, exclamation mark.
This one?
No, exclamation mark.
What's that? Oh, exclamation.
Yeah, dash dash.
What's an exclamation mark? This one?
Yeah, dash dash.
Dash dash like that?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. Whoosh! This is a comment. Then dash dash
And then yeah, close it.
like that? Okay. Whoosh. Okay. Thank you. No, I have too many programming. I got Xcode in my head. I got
everybody's language is going to say comment.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. It's I don't remember. The one with the asterisk is the CSS one, right? The one with the asterisk is the CSS one.
It's C++ and PO1 as well.
Yeah.
What? For what? Comment? Yeah, / dash dash.
Okay, everybody ready to write their CSS? Almost ready?
slash. You can do oh, no, that's not too much.
As long as this comes back in color, see how this is in color? See how this is like grayed
That's
out?
our fault.
Now it sees it, right?
There you go. Okay, let's do the CSS, and then we'll take a break. Okay, I can type fast. So we'll do it one line at a time, and then we'll see what it. As we're adding it, we'll look at it and see it, and then we can change it and do things like that. So I'm going to save. Save. Remember, there's a tab right here for the CSS right here. Do you see it? Boom. Click on that. So I'm going to go below this CSS document right there. I'm going to turn my page over to the CSS. Now, the first 4 lines right there is for a link. Right now, that's for the Yahoo link. Again, if you look at the Yahoo link, you'll see it's blue with the underline right there. Okay, it's blue with the underline. If you look at the CSS link right here, you'll see there's 4 of them. One is a link, which is the actual color when the cursor's not over it. The H over or hover there is when the cursor's over it. The A visited is when they come back. And the A active is when they click down on it. There's 4 states to the link. Let's try it. So I'm going to type in A:link. Notice how they're together like that. A:link is the same. I can do this with the class as well. And you'll learn about that later. Then you do the round bracket. You could do color, colon, and we can put in a number if you want. You can put in yellow if you want. YELLOW, semicolon. You see that? Then after this one, I'm going to do A:hover, HOVER, with a round bracket like that. In this background color, this is going to be the color behind the text. Do you notice that? Background dash color, colon, and then let's change it to my favorite color instead of using FFFF. Do you see FFF there? That is white. If you want white, you can do white, or you can do your favorite color, which is what? Light sky blue, CCF, what would I say? 33CCFF? 33CCFF. There it is. Light sky blue. Okay, what is this doing? Let me show you this. Okay, I'm going to show you this. So if I hit save, let me go back to my code here. Let me refresh. Let me refresh here. Let me refresh. Notice it's yellow. Look at when I roll over. See the color changing? See the color changing? See the color changing? See the color changing? Changing. That's the CSS. The yellow is not. That's the first one. You see a link color yellow. That's this one, which is pretty ugly. You can barely see it. Then H over background color. That's going to change the color behind the text when you roll over. Do you see that? Okay, so I don't like the yellow. Let's make it a different color. We can do, if you hit the star to give you the color picker, let's make it red. There we go. I'm going to go with the red here. And then hit return. It'll do it. And then if you want to change the color back, so this is changing the background color. You change the color. Well, let's see what that looks like. Let's save. Again, I'm going to save. And let's see what it looks like. There we go. Now we got red. Roll over blue. Oh, I like that better. See that? See that? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then the other one is visited. So what is visited? Well, visited is the color it changes to when you come back after you click the link. Like it normally turns purple, right? You ever do that when you're going through the internet and you're surfing along and you come back to your page and the text is purple? Then by default it changes from the blue. The default link is blue. It changes to purple. So you can change that. Again, it's going to be A:visited, VISITED, with the round bracket like that. And then what color do we want it to be? We're going to color colon, and then let's make some other color. I have it red. What color we want it to be now? Let's just choose a color. How about we choose I like the purple when they come back. We'll go back to purple. Let's do the purple. Hit return. Does it. And then you could give it a background color if you want to when they come back. Uh-oh, what did I do there? I didn't want to do that. Oh, I lost my thing. Oh, I lost it. What? I had a nice purple too. There we go. Let's do purple when they come back. Hit return. And then that's going to be a semicolon at the end there. Don't forget your semicolon. And then we can put a background color there if you want. If you put a background color in there, colon, and then let's make that, so we got a blue text. Let's make it pink. How about that? Pink. Do you think? Ooh, pink is a color. Don't forget your semicolon at the end there. And then, let's see. And then A active. You don't really see A active very much. It only shows that color when you click down on it. A active. And then you do your round brackets. And then we're going to do color. And let's do black. There we go. Don't forget your semicolon. Okay, save that and then go preview it. Here we go. How am I previewing it? Well, I'm just jumping back to the browser, which has my file in it. So all you have to do is open your file in the browser. How do you open that HTML file? Go to Firefox and say Open File right here. Do you see it? Go under File, Open File right there. Find your HTML and open it. And then refresh it. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if I click on it, it goes to Yahoo, right? There's beautiful Yahoo. And if I close it and I go back, ooh, look at it. It's purple now. And if I roll over it, ooh, it's ugly pink behind it. Again, you don't see the black until you click down. Do you see that? Notice it's a new tab. It's a new tab. If you wanted to open in a new window that's not a tab, you need to use JavaScript. Through JavaScript, you can open a new window. So that,
Where do you get the CSS file?
yeah, just save it.
Same level as index.html?
Yeah, they're in the same folder.
When I go back to my index file, it says there's 2 styles CSS.
Here, I'll open up my
In
code.
your folder.
Yeah, did you make a new folder?
No folder. Everything's in the same folder. Here, look. Let's look. Let's look here. Here's my sample. Where's my sample? Oh, here it is. Sample site. What's in my sample site? You have index HTML and CSS. They're both inside there. And the reason why, and then you'll notice, yeah. So let me go back to here. So there's my CSS. I just wrote it just like that. I just added a little bit more. There's my HTML. Okay, I know in the video I kind of skipped some steps here, but I was trying, this was a photo that we took and then we made left and right side. I don't know where I left off, but whatever. Let's talk about the feed. So let me go back to this website. I'm going to go back to I'm going to start from the beginning of the BloopNet. BloopNet? BloopNet. Let me start again. I'm going to open a new window for this. Okay, there we were. We started with the BloopNet. Bloople? How would you say that? B-L-O-O-P-L-E. Bloople? Okay, whatever it is. I don't know. The next thing is to find an RSS. I went to Yahoo and I typed in RSS feeds Yahoo. Okay, so in Yahoo I typed in RSS feeds Yahoo right there. And I went down and I found the CNN one, this one that says CNN. Do you see the CNN one right there? So you got to find a feed. You got to find the feeds usually end with the RSS extension. So you see right here, I'm going to click on the one that says CNN RSS feed, takes me to this website. And then here's the feeds. So again, what you're looking for is you're looking for a link that either ends in XML. Sometimes the feeds end in XML. Or sometimes they end in RSS. But if you find one that ends in HTML, so you need to find one that either ends in .rss like this one, or .xml sometimes work. So these are the feeds. You got to find the feed. It's weird. You just got to search. It used to be easy to find sports ones. That's why I used to show students the sports ones because it was easy to find the sports one. but they changed, Yahoo changed it, but it used to be easy. So this is CNN. Maybe just type in CNN RSS services and you get to this page. You might need to type that in. See it? It's cnn.com/services/RSS. Then you take the link here. You can either copy this link right here. So let's say you wanted to have, let's say, technology on your website. Let's say you wanted technology. You can copy this link, either highlight it right here. Look at it. Highlight it, copy. Or you can right-click and say copy link location. Copy that link. Go back to that bloop. Oh, didn't I start a new page? I started a new one. No. Now I lost it. Oh, here it is. Go back to your bloople, and you see where it says URL of RSS feed. Do you see that right there? You put it in there. You put your link in there. This is my tech one I just made. You can show how many articles you want to show. I can show up to 5. Or no, not that one. This one. No, not that one. Limit this one. I'm sorry. Oh, now I can't turn these off. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. And then right here where it says limit to first 5 items. I only want to show the first 5 articles. Then say submit and get code. See it right here? This is going to be JavaScript. Now here's the problem with the JavaScript. It doesn't have the HTTP here. So you got to kind of, it shows you what it's going to look like down here. See it? But this is what it looks like without any CSS. Do you see it there? And so you copy that. So if I copy that, Command C, I'm going to copy that. And when I go back to my code, I'm going to find a spot. In this case, I just made a new P tag in the left side, and I'm going to paste it in there. And then notice it doesn't have the HTTP. You got to kind of put the HTTP in there. It doesn't work. So do you see? Oh, I just hit return accidentally there. Sorry. Do you see where it has the src with the quote there? You got to put the HTTP in there and colon in there, and that'll make it work. So once you put the HTTP colon in there and then save it, you should then have a feed. I should have the new technology feed now in my example here. Wherever my example is. Hold on. Where's my example? Oh, here it is. Here's my example. And if I hit refresh, now I have this is the technology one. See the technology? Okay, so now whenever this is updated,
Did you put the HTTP?
and make sure you put the HTTP in there. So that seemed to work. I've been showing that for a couple years now, and it seems to work as long as you can find an appropriate feed. You know, a lot of times when I'm showing students this, this only works if you have the appropriate, you know, something with the RSS extension. See that? Or an XML extension. Most people that can't get this to work are usually the feed is wrong file type. So another way I use Windows, and remember we did the target blank, right? Another useful way is if you have I have links to videos, as you see here, right? Now, last class I showed you how to do the video, right? And we copied the video from YouTube and put it on our page. But I want them to watch the video in a window above, right? A window above. And so, if you click on this, you'll notice it opens in a window above.
Scanner X85 one-step from Zircon. The X85 is the first all-in-one scanner that can detect live AC electrical fields, the center of wood and metal studs.
Now this box is being done by, of course, this is WordPress. But I also, before I went to WordPress on here, I did the same thing using JavaScript. And it's JavaScript opening in a new window that is over top of the there. And then the person never leaves your site. They're going, they're watching the video, you can see it, and then it has a little X in the corner, right? You see a little X. And then notice how it grays out the background as well. You can do this all through JavaScript, okay? All through JavaScript. And I can't remember the JavaScript I used to use. Let me see if I have it in my example. Because this was JavaScript. Did you see the JavaScript for the RSS feed? It's the same thing. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here's a JavaScript sample. What is this? That doesn't work, whatever that is. Okay, let's look at this sample just for a moment here. Okay, so let's look at how to make a menu. So how do I turn this, which is a list, this is called a UL list, unordered list. How do I turn this list into a menu?
Menu is like clickable.
Yeah, a clickable menu. So this is an example. I haven't taught HTML and probably last time I used to do this was a sample from the class I did probably 7 years ago. The last time, maybe 6 years ago. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, this is just through the CSS, just like you saw the CSS. This is going to be a list that then takes each one of those items, those bulleted items, and puts them across using the float left. Right? Remember the float left? So here, let's look at the source. So here it is inside of HTML. Again, I use the same terms that she uses, right? Remember Stacy's example? Container, see that? We got width, so this is the container, okay? Underneath there is the header, okay? That is the, that is this box right here. See the header? It's this box right here. Then I have a list. Okay, so this thing is called nav UL. What is UL? UL is this right here. This is called a UL, unordered list. So this is the UL, and then you have your list in there. So what this is doing is it's taking the UL and doing what? Display inline, which means it's going to be in a line. The list type none turns the bullet off. See how it has a little bullet? I don't want to see a bullet. Turns that off. And then the margins just tell it to not have any space around it. And then here's a rollover effect, which doesn't seem to be happening. Oh, there's a rollover effect. I can see it. You can't see it up there, but if you roll over, you see the rollover effect. Do you see that right there? That's a rollover effect. That's what this is doing here. And then, what's that?
Which is the rollover?
The nav UL LIA is the link, and then the AH over right here. This is it. So you can see the color here. Let me change this color to something brighter. How about we make it red? How do we? What's that?
No, I think that's all CSS. Style sheet.
Okay, so that's there, and then here's the nav element, content, background color, footer, and then here's the way the HTML is laid out. Again, you got your container, you got your header, then this bar right here is called nav, and then here's the list, You got your list there, and then that's it. And it builds a menu. So this is a nice simple way of hand coding a menu that you can see has rollover effects. Again, it's the same rollover effect that we made tonight. Remember the rollover effect with the H over there? Okay, but it's doing it on a box. That's why you can see an entire box changing color there a little bit. Okay, and then any kind of content you want to put in there. So that's an example of there. What do I have? Image lesson. Oh, here's some background image effects. You can have the top of your thing. This is image effects where you make a small image like that and you repeat it. Backgrounds are repeated. Okay, so you can think of a background of a web page as being like your tile, your floor, right? You look down at your floor and you have little squares and they all go together. Most backgrounds are tiled. Well, you can also tile it in one direction. In this case, I made a little graphic that has a little gradient and I said tile horizontally across your page. That's what this example is right here. Here's a background that's fixed that has a graphic that doesn't move. So no matter how much content you put in here, it will never, the background stays the same. So you can actually make a background that's fixed. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Let me open it up in Dreamweaver. And so right now, you'll notice I have a body, right? Body. In the body, I have some CSS. That CSS is background image, which takes a graphic and puts it in the background, right here. Then I say background attachment fix, which means it never moves. So no matter how much text I put in here, I could put in a bunch of text with a bunch of p tags, like that. And then, I don't know, let me copy this a million times. Okay, maybe that's enough. So again, here's a background that never moves. If I hit return, you'll see it. Now if I scroll, look, the content is scrolling. I know you can barely see it, but it is scroll. Here's a scroll bar over here. See it's scrolling? But look, the background never changes. Okay? Never changes. So you can do that with backgrounds right here. This is called a background fixed. Okay, and then here's another background example. This one is, I don't know what that one is. Let's see, what other, here's a favcon. You want to do the favcon?
That's the small icon in there.
You want to do the small icon? Let's do that. That'll impress Stacy when she comes back, okay? What is the favcon? Well, again, that's the little icon, and I'm not seeing it in there, but if you see the little Z up here, right there, right? You go there. You go to, look, Firefox, there's a little Firefox up there. And let's go to, I don't know, Google. You've seen that one? Google, see it right there? Okay, so how do you make that? How you code it? Here we go. Let's first make one. So I'm just going to steal an icon. The best way to make one is to steal, because we don't know how to use Illustrator, do we? Who knows how to use Illustrator? Some of us are Illustrator people. Well, if you don't know how to make an artwork, you can steal. The best place to steal an icon is the Noun project. So here we go. I'm going to go to the Noun, N-O-U-N, project, P-R-O-J-E-C-T, thenounproject.com. Now, this is a great website for icons. So let's say you're making a website on money. I saw a dollar sign somewhere, didn't I? Money. Or what am I making a website on? Yeah, let's put in money. And you get all these wonderful little icons. You see them there? Wonderful little icons. Now, I don't have an account for this, but I can steal from here. Right? We're like Picasso. Right? What was Picasso's famous saying? Good artists borrow, but great artists steal. quote from Picasso. And Picasso never made anything of his own. He stole everybody else's idea and made millions off it. Okay, so it's called the Noun Project. So I'm going to steal, let's say, this one. This would be cool. Or you like this one with the big dollar sign. Or you want this one with the money. So that would be, see the little icon up there? So it's called a favicon. So the easiest way to do it is to make sure you make it square. First thing is make it square. So to make it square is I'm going to either click on it or I can draw a box. How do I draw a box around it? I hold down the Command-Shift-4. When you hit Command-Shift-4 on the cursor, look how the cursor changes to a crosshair. See how the cursor changes to a crosshair? And I'm going to draw a box around it. Try and make it square. So I'm going to kind of start up here. Think about square, right? Think square. I'm going to hold my left mouse down and I'm going to drag across like that. And it makes that sound. Did you hear the sound? I'll do it again. I want this one. Command-Shift-4. Think square. Think square. Oh, I missed the edge, didn't I? That's okay. Did you hear it? Okay. Where does it go when you do that? Well, if you're Windows users, you need to do that using a snipping tool, right? Snipping tool. Okay, so where does it go when you do that? Well, it goes on your desktop. So let's find it. And so here it is. Here's my money. I like this one with well, no, I like the big dollar sign. So I'm going to change the name. Okay, I'm going to just change the name to Favicon, F-A-V-I-C-O-N, Favicon. And then for some reason, I don't know if this still works, but it kind of wants to be a bitmap file. So right now it's a PNG. I don't know if the PNG will work. We'll just try it. I think it does work now. So I'm going to call it Favicon, F-A-V-I-C-O-N. Just change the name to that. That makes it easy. So how do I put it on my page in that little bar at the top? Well, you program it in the header section. Remember in the header section of your website, the header section? So I'm going to put this in my folder. Make sure you put it in your folder. Where's my folder? Where's my folder? Put it in. Where's my folder? Oh, sample site. Boom. Put it in there. So here it is. It's right here. Here's my HTML. Here's my CSS, right? So I'm going to open up the HTML. I'm going to go to the header section. And it's going to be another link. It's going to be a link. REL. Fav. No, that's not right. I have to look up the code. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Hold on. I'm going to have to go look. Sorry, I can't remember. Link REI icon. Favicon ICO there. But of course I have it's a PNG file, so I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Hold on, I'll have to think about this. Hold on. Let me copy this.
It should work, surely. I mean, it shouldn't care what the extension is. All it wants to know is where to find it.
Yeah, well, the old versions, old browsers would only work if it wouldn't work with a PNG. But I think the new browsers work with a PNG. So this is gonna be PNG. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try it. Hold on, let's try it. It did with the PNG. See the dollar sign now? See the dollar sign here? Okay, so again, make sure it's in your folder, right? It's in your folder, and the code is going to be right here.
So that's an icon for your title.
For that little icon, it's called a favcon. It goes in the upper corner there. You've seen it on everybody's website, right? Okay, again, easiest way I found is take a screen grab, right? I stole it from that website. You know, it's illegal, but you know, we could hire somebody who knows Illustrator to make us a beautiful one, right? As long as it's square, right? You want to make it square, and it'll shrink it down to
Does it have
this,
to be a certain scale?
just square. Yeah. Within WordPress, they want it to be 512 by 512 pixels. Okay, but here so again, this is the thing. Remember the name. Make sure you have the proper name. Make sure you have the proper name. I renamed it after I did the screen grab, right?
I actually made mine just whatever name. I don't think I can.
It doesn't have to be Favcon.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It can be my icon, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
so as
call it.
long as it's pointing to that.
Yeah. Okay, so we did that. We did RSS feed. I don't know. You did your homework. What else were you supposed to do? Anything else?
Oh, this line.
Yeah, this is, well, it has to be, it's not, it
Yeah.
Okay, what I would do is take that folder that you did. I would zip it into a compressed file and then put it on Canvas for her.
She wants us to have 5 extra CSS and or HTML items that were not already listed on advertisements.
Well, you got a favcon, right? You have an RSS feed, right? What else do you have? You have an image that you pulled from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then we added different colors, right? Did we make different colors?
That's all part of it.
I think
Colors don't count.
colors don't count.
We already did that on the back. But the image does.
Put the blink tag on there. That'll make her crazy. Blink, 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 blink. I don't even. Does the blink tag still work? I think they brought it back.
This RSS feed which are scrolling, how do you enable in your site? It has to be from the source site. That's how it has to set up. Like,
It's
some
pulling.
site when you go.
You would put it in a div tag, and then you can make the div tag a scrolling box.
Oh, so the box itself moves.
You can make a div tag that's a fixed size. That if the content's bigger, you can have a scroll bar
Oh,
in there.
sorry, I didn't mean that kind of scrolling, but the news feed itself kind of scrolls, right? Refreshes.
Yeah, whenever somebody updates the content, it'll update on your site. Right? That's the purpose of the RSS feed.
Right, right. Because it's a continuous stream, right? So
It's a continuous stream. So as
That's
soon
what
as
I'm saying.
CNN changes the technology stream, it'll change on your site. That's why we use it. Because we want fresh stuff on your site, right? Fresh stuff.
So if we wanted to take this over, can we save it to the other USB and we need to save it as a zip file, or do we need to save it separately?
No, you can say just take all your HTML. I'm just saying the easiest way to post things on Canvas is to put them into one file. Because you have multiple files. You just need to zip it and then put it on Canvas. That's what I would do. Just square. In WordPress, they want it to be 512 by 512 in WordPress. But hand coding shrinks it down to the 16 by 16 pixels. That's the big size. So as long as it's square, it's going to be square. It's just not square. It's not going to work. But no, it'll work. It just will squish it, right? It'll look stretched, right? If you use something that's not square,